Hi everyone, it's me, Miss Michelle. This week we're going to be painting our toucan. I sent you guys a picture of it. So I know that a lot of Rocky Point, Miller Place, the areas around our studio are out of power. So what I figured was that I would just record the video and have you guys do it in your own time. Just made a lot of sense. I drove out to my mom's house today in Blue Point so that I could have power to do the video. So I figured I would just do it now because I did my other one. Just makes a lot of sense because we might be out of power for a couple days. I hope not, but it might be. So we're gonna be making our toucan. In this video, it's gonna be shorter than my normal classes. Take advantage of the fact that you can rewind, you can pause, because I'm just moving as fast as I normally would. So since I don't have a class with me today, it won't take me as long. Please allow yourself an hour and a half at least to do this, okay? Another tip is that you can start and then stop. You can take breaks. It's nice to take breaks, especially if it's a beautiful day out like it is today. Take your time. Please definitely send me your picture when you're finished with it. I'd like to feature you on Facebook or on Instagram. As you guys know, every week I've been featuring our students, so you guys are doing wonderful work in this class, and I'm very proud of you all. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Same supplies as always. I'm gonna start with my Sharpie marker. You guys are gonna use a pencil. All right, so I'm gonna pin my screen here, and this is my mom's kitchen. All right, so bear with me. What we're going to be doing is drawing out our toucan. So my page is 11 by 14. This is my hand on the page, just so you guys can see for measure. Our toucan's going to be right in the middle of the page, just like my hand is. Roughly the size of my hand, if not a little larger. Okay? All right, let's get started. One step at a time. I'm just using my screen so I can really see what I'm doing. And I'm sorry if I'm a little shaky because I am holding my tripod. Okay. So I'm start out with a long C shape. See my long C shape? And you guys are using pencil, so if you have to, you can always erase. Okay. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a straight line like that. It's going to go almost to the end of the page and connect the top of that C shape. Okay. Now I make about an inch line just like that. So here's the part with the wing. Check out how I do this. The wing stops at the bottom. Almost a teardrop shape. I'm going to connect and draw the tail. Looks like that. Okay. I know I'm off the page, I'm sorry. So now I'm drawing that line there. It does go in a little bit, just like I just did. Okay. Now here's the eye. Doesn't quite go to the top. Draw a circle in the center. This is where his smile is going to go. I'm drawing it out. You know I'm going to paint right over all this. Okay? I'm not drawing any of the background yet. Take your time here. Feel free to pause, rewind, fast forward if you need to. But I'm going to be moving on. Okay, so these are your basic shapes. I'm just going to put this down. Actually, I'm not going to put it down. I'm actually just going to kind of move right along. So, I want to make sure I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording. This is my palette today. Don't worry about all this black on top. That's from another painting I did. I just want to show you the colors that we're using today. I know it might be a little challenging to see. I have black, green, whatever green you have, blue, white, yellow, and red. I might need to put out more red than that. We're going to be doing a lot of our own color mixing for this project, okay? So one thing at a time. Something I need to do is change my water. Look at my water. Ah, that's for my last group that I just taught. I'm going to go dump that really fast. Stay with me, friends. Just setting up my tripod. Washing out my brushes really well. Grabbing some paper towel. Yeah, my brushes were in bad shape after that last class. You can bring your brushes back to life very easily, though. That's the nice thing. Brushes, most brushes are very forgiving. So I'll show you what I mean. So these brushes were just heavily used, okay? What you can do, I'm just gonna put this down for a second. Here's my brush. You can reshape it while it's wet just by pulling the tip. Now some of them are gonna be beyond hopeless, but a lot of times you can recover your brushes doing this. And do the same for my smaller ones. Sometimes with these little tiny brushes, the tips get frayed. Okay. First color we're gonna mix. Actually, we're not even gonna mix this color. We're gonna use it straight. I'm gonna be using some black. Okay. Maybe I'll add a little blue to my black. I think I will. And that'll give it nice variation. Yeah, I like that better. So I just actually put a little bit of blue in with my black, and that just gave it some nice viscosity variation. I like it better. It's just coming on smoother. Okay. You can play. You don't have to mix anything with your black. I just like to give you guys tips. You know me. I'm not going to go right up to my edges. I'm going to use my thin brush. Same way I always do. You guys know me. I'm very reliable with these techniques. I do things the same way every time. Creature of habit. Stop feeding you. You guys hear Maya in the background? She says hi. She says, feed me. Feed me. She says, feed me, Seymour. She says, I'm very happy because I get all the attention now because big sister's at camp. He's just cute. It's my mom. He's so cute. She is cute. I'm going to do his eye. Really hard. I'll show you guys my mom and Maya. Here they are. Say hi, Mom. Say hi, Maya. Yay.
I just see you.
Oh, no, it's you on there.
It's us. We're on TV. Yeah.
Going to the beach?
Me?
Oh, I thought that's what you just said to Maya.
No, I said we're on TV.
Oh, you are on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also going to do his tail feather. Usually when I film from my house, the cats are jumping all over the table. Today we have babies. It's always action. So I'm just kind of giving it a second coat right now. You can always wait to give it a second coat. One thing I was looking for, Mom, was a hair dryer. You don't have one, do you?
I do have hair dryers.
Really?
In the drawer in my new vanity.
I didn't see it. I guess it wasn't with your frequently used things.
You want me to bring it to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so a hair dryer, guys, might be a good thing to have in this class today. because we're going to be doing a lot of painting and then painting on top of what we did. So yes, a hairdryer is a very good idea. Sorry, I just realized I'm off the page. Here I am. So that's what I'm up to. I'm just going to fix my shape a little bit over here. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the pink for his, I guess his arm, his feather part. Okay, I'm just washing my brush off really, really, really well. And I'm going to mix some red, some white, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of blue in there, just a little bit. I think I will need to put out some more red on my page. Okay, here I am. And I'm filling in this part. Now, if you're at home, and you are at home, or wherever you are, what you might do is use a hairdryer to dry off each section before you move on. That's actually a really good tip. Mom, would you mind plugging that in right over here for me?
Sure.
Thank goodness, because my last class, she wasn't here, and I could not find a hairdryer.
Do you like me to leave it?
Actually, could you blow dry? I have my mom blow dry.
Hot or cold?
Mom.
Hi. Hot or
I think
cold?
hot, right?
Okay. I don't usually have an assistant. Usually that's my own devices. It's really nice to have a helper. So this is the part to go and blow dry. That's perfect, Mom. Yeah. If you can't leave it here, keep it handy for me. Thank you. Right there.
What a help.
Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, let's do
Okay.
that.
I think I am going to do a second coat on my bird. You see how it's a little streaky? I don't like that streakiness. Every week I talk to you guys about the word opaque. That means you can't see through it. It was a little translucent just before. So you didn't know it, but you learn a lot of vocabulary with me too. So I'm just painting over just a few spots that look a little streaky. Sometimes you want the streakiness in your painting, depending on what kind of painting you're doing. But this is a different kind of painting and one that doesn't call for that streakiness. If you feel like your shape's not perfect, that's okay. Because when we paint our background, you can cut into this shape and make it the way you want. I know I have a nice glare there too, so you can't really see. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and mix our yellow. Now the white part around the eye, I'm just gonna leave it white. Why mess with that? It's perfect as it is. So my yellow for the beak, here's what I'm doing. Mostly yellow with tiniest bit of red. See, that got very, very orange. Actually though, looks pretty good. It's right actually where I kind of need it. I'm gonna add a touch of white. This is a very pastel-y picture. Pastel is any color mixed with white. Pastels are also an art medium that we use sometimes, not to be confused with that kind of pastel. Pastel colors are any color mixed with white. It's going to make for a brighter, livelier picture. I think I'm going to do that same thing here. Oh, see, I went outside my line. No biggie. I like when I make little mistakes so I can show you guys how not a big deal it is.
Pretty good.
I'm gonna go do a second coat. And yes, I know that I'm covering up the smile, and it's no big deal because you know that we're just gonna paint it back in later. You guys have been with me for a few weeks now, so you know all my tricks. And yes, I am going right outside my line. And it's not a big deal. I'm gonna show you guys a little trick right here. I'm gonna dip directly in my red. Just put a tiny, tiny bit of red, even less than that, on my brush, okay? And what I'm gonna do while this is wet, I'm gonna mix it in with my yellow. See what I did there? And I mix a little bit more of that yellow in with it. And this is how I'm creating depth and volume. See that? I'm gonna do the same underneath. I'm gonna add tiny, 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 tiny bit of red. So I start out with my little line. It looks very choppy. I'm gonna dip directly in my yellow and mix that up. And now my smile is completely covered. And add a little tiny bit more red. Something beeping?
Yeah, I was trying to put Danny's freezer.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't sure if it was my video.
No,
I was just making sure.
No, it was me trying to stuff the freezer.
No biggie. Okay. Our bird, he's getting there. Is he done? Absolutely not. He needs work. Okay. Gonna add a little tiny bit of white onto my brush. And I'm gonna add a little bit of highlight over there and over here.
Well, why would you do that?
It's my mom.
Why would you do that?
I know we sound alike.
Why would you do that?
So I just added a little bit more of my pink back in there. I did the same kind of technique I just did with the beak. So let me reiterate. I dipped in the white first, made my little streak. And again, this is a good place to go use that rewind button or pause.
It's got cottage cheese in her hair.
My mom's just in her glory right now, playing with the baby. She's one messy baby. It is funny. As long as I don't have to clean up that mess. Someone else's house. Just kidding. Here we go. I just added like a little, sorry, I was off the page. I added a little streak to that. Okay, coming back to the toucan's body, what I'm gonna do is add some blue. Just like that.
What do you mean no? What do you mean no? I know you like this.
So I just added some blue.
Cottage cheese.
And I'm gonna add some more of my Payton's gray, or I'm sorry, it's black. I pulled up the wrong thing. Adding a little bit more of my black. I'm doing the exact same thing that I did in the beak, just in the body part with different colors. Exact same technique though. You guys are probably getting really good at it by now.
Yum yum.
So I'm adding variation to his body and a little blue to his tail feather. A little bit of blue there.
It's good.
Okay, now I'm gonna grab my smallest brush, dip in my white.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at what you look like. Look at what you look like.
She's one messy baby.
She got cottage cheese in her eye. Good, look
There's
at Mama. Look at Mama.
Say hi. Okay, back to our picture. We're going to be doing our background color first. Let me show you the original picture again so you can see it. Oh, before we do that, let's go make his smile. Why not? Okay. I might actually go back later and redo that. Okay. For our background color, it's a light blue, almost a teal. Big scoop of blue. Gonna need some yellow and some white, lots of white. Give it a good mix.
Yum, yum, yum.
A little more blue in there. Get in there. Yes, that's perfect. Actually, I think it should be lighter. Add a little bit more white to it. So I used a scoop of blue. I used some yellow and some white. That's really it. And just play with different amounts until it's where you want it. So I'm going to be painting my entire background. This is a fast part. You know me. Just take your time. Now you see how I went outside my line over here. This is a place where I can fix that.
I'm good, sweetie.
Thank you. Just knocked the hairdryer over.
Still works.
Oh,
How about I
good.
leave it up here?
Oh, perfect. Because I'm on video, she didn't yell at me.
No, just a hair dryer.
Just kidding. Where am I?
Want some 1% cottage cheese?
No, thank you.
Weight Watchers.
I'm not a big fan of cottage cheese. So this is a place where you could use your thin brush, and I might go back and use it just to make sure you really are getting the spots really nicely and not messing up the shape. So over here, I'm going to actually fix up my shape. See what I did? I kind of cut into what was there. Wasn't crazy about how I made that shape earlier. So sometimes you can fix things up later on just by cutting into the shape a little bit. Here I am. This might be something where I do a second coat. I'm going to assess it after I'm done painting. So a little bit of this different color green got in there, but I like it. I'm going to make it part of my painting. No big deal. So if that happens to you, and it happened to me because I didn't mix my colors enough, but I always think when things like that happen, it's never by accident. Even though it might be an accident to you, I feel like it was meant to happen and somehow will make your picture better. So don't stress it, don't sweat it. Try to go with the flow. At some point, our pictures tend to have a mind of their own. Have you noticed that? Sorry, I was off the page. So here's my pile. It's getting a little thin. I added a little water to it to help me be able to move it. I'm at the top of the page here. And remember, use that rewind button, use that fast forward button, use the pause button. Don't be afraid to do this in your own time. It takes you 3 hours, totally fine. If you want to make this on a much larger canvas, that could be fun. This could be your living room centerpiece picture, if you like, that you made with your child. So there's many ways to kind of approach this. And you're not constricted to the sizes that we use here in class. You're at home. You guys can use whatever size canvas you have or paper. I know in our class, our list of supplies, I had said 11 by 14 Bristol. So most of you guys probably are using that, but some of you may not be. You have choice. So I'm going to use my thin brush. I'm going to change over. And I'm just going to kind of get up to these edges a little bit better.
Hey, look at that funnel.
Show you where I'm at so far.
Look at that funnel.
Pretty happy with my progress.
Look at that funnel.
That, Mom. Okay, I'm going to blow dry. Here, we'll focus on Maya for a second.
So it's a good idea to dry at this part. So we're going to take it into the bathroom a lot. And it's not totally dry. What's going to happen is the colors are going to mix with the background colors. So the last part, I'll just let you go. Kind of a free part. The way the artist who made this picture did it is a very free way. So yours can look very different than mine. You can play with that. You want to make sure it's strong enough.
Here we are. I'm just trying to talk over this hair dryer. All right, I'm feeling it to make sure it's not tacky. Feels pretty good. All right, happy with where it's at. I think something I'm gonna do before I move on is repaint the smile. You know what, I need a little bit more Payne's Gray, or I keep calling it Payne's Gray. It's what I'm using for black today. So when I say Payne's Gray, what I really need is black. Hang on. Sometimes I use Payne's Gray instead of black because it's just slightly lighter than black. It's more of a gray. So that is actually what I'm using. That's why I keep calling it that. But it really does the same thing as black. It's just not quite as dark. You wouldn't know. Most people looking at Payne's Gray would have no idea it's not as dark as a black. You would only know if you saw it next to a true black. Okay, here is the mouth. Here we go. Now he looks nice and smiley. Here's a part where I can also make those little dots in the eyes. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, look, you can see me 100 times. That's cool and different. There's Maya. What? I dipped my brush in the wrong color. Okay. So just grabbing some white. And what I'm gonna do is make like 3 dots in his eyes. So maybe add a little bit of water to your white before you do this so it's a little bit liquidy. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. Now he looks a little happier and friendlier. Okay. All right, my mom's leaving me to my own devices. You're gonna be very good for me? You're gonna be a good girl? Hope so. I'm gonna teach you guys how to make your own brown because I forgot to put out brown and you probably didn't put it out either because I didn't tell you to. All right, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna put out some more of my red too and my white. So I'll teach you how to make some brown. Here's some red. What, I put out way too much. Whoops. And I'm just gonna put out some more white really quick. A little more than that actually, because we're gonna be doing a lot of color mixing coming up. Okay, here I am. All right. So to make your own brown, brown is just a combination of several different colors, and there's many ways to make it. Basically, you can mix complementary colors and you'll get a brown. Complementary colors are colors that look very bright next to each other. They're kind of like opposites on the color wheel. So I have red and green. Okay, I'm gonna mix like equal parts. All right, it's getting browner. So it's kind of like a reddy kind of brown. Add a little more green to it. So it's just a matter of kind of playing. I'm gonna add some yellow to it, and that should make it a little bit warmer. Oh, it's got red again somehow. Maya really has a lot to say. Adding more yellow to it. Okay. That's a really nice brown that we're mixing. So basically you could just play with mixing any colors together and you're probably gonna get a brown. But red and green with a little bit of yellow will give you a nice kind of warm brown. And you can always go and rewind. So this might be one of those areas where you do that. Okay, so I'm gonna free paint some branches. Here's where I am. All right, I'm gonna make a branch that kind of starts over here. I'm making mine a lot like the picture. Please feel free to do your own thing. You can make yours different. I encourage you to. This is a good place to kind of add your own artistic voice and play. You can make your branches different than mine. You can put more branches, fewer branches. I feel like she's saying mom. So it looks like he's sitting or she is sitting on a branch. I would say he or she. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. It's whatever you want it to be. Okay. That's pretty good. Maybe I'll put some more branches towards the top. In our actual picture, there's no branches at the top. I think I want to add one. You don't have to do this. Do it if you like. Watch how mine comes out first if you like, and then decide. You might say, oh, I don't like it with the branch on top. I'm gonna make mine without it. You can do whatever you like. It is your art. This is a place where you have a lot of freedom. So let this be explorative. So I made some branches at the top too. Sorry, I'm like nodding the screen. Okay, the next part, I'm gonna be painting flowers everywhere. I'm gonna use my hair dryer and I'm gonna dry my brown branches. what we're gonna do now. You guys have freedom. You guys can start designing your own flowers. Oh, one thing I need is a little bit more yellow paint. Be right back. Okay, here I am. So I'm gonna mix an orange for the middle of some of my flowers. And I'm sure you guys know how to mix orange by now, but if you don't remember, some yellow, some red. That's it. That's a beautiful orange. Let's see what happens if I add a little white to it. You don't have to. Just what I feel like doing. Okay. That's a beautiful color. So I have that, and I think I'm going to use some light yellow for the center of some of my flowers. So I made a little puddle of my orange, and now I'm going to make a light yellow. Just washing my brush, so I have a nice clean brush to work with. So I'm going to paint the intersection of my flowers. We're going to be painting many flowers around this picture. Where you paint them, that's up to you. Just going to show you some tips, that's all. Okay, so watch again as I show you how to press your brush and make a flower shape. Ready? I'm just making sure I'm in the screen. Am I in the screen? If I pull back a little. Okay, ready? Boop, 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 boop. So you can just kind of play, or you can actually pull. I'm just pulling now. That didn't come out the way I wanted. The person said, watch how I do this. And that was the time it didn't really come out that great. It's okay. So this is actually going to be the intersection of these flowers. I'm going to have multiple different types of colored flowers. So I'm just kind of designing the middle of them first. Okay, and now for the outside, I remember that orange that I made. I'm going to use it now. There I am. It's going to kind of go around. Just like that. That's fine. I'm going to be adding a little bit more to these. Just trust me, it doesn't look like much just yet, but it will. It will look good, promise. Maya has so much to say. Hey, Maya. So these three flowers, I'm doing them the same way as each other. But I'm going to add other flowers that are going to be done differently. I'm going to come back to these flowers after I do a little blow drying in a bit. I'm going to start painting. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some leaves around. This is a good time to take a little break and paint our leaves instead. So for the leaves, I'm going to use some green and maybe a little yellow. It's up to you. That's a very kind of limey looking green. You can use all different greens. They don't all have to be the same. I can have some of my leaves be darker and some lighter. That'll be a really cool thing to do. So just allow yourself that freedom to explore here. This is going to be a leaf coming out of the corner of my page. I like this green, but I also think I'm going to put in some darker green. So I'm gonna mix my dark green, and I think I'll even put a little blue in it, and I'll make some more leaves. I think that's a nice idea, is to use a few different greens. And look how it's coming along. So just give yourself permission to be extremely playful. Oh, Maya. Maya. There's Maya. She just wants to be on the camera. Okay. I'm going to actually take her out of her high chair really quick. I'll be right back. What is it, cutie pie? You just want to be out of here. That's a mess. What a messy girl. Okay. I'm going to mix into this very, very light pale green that I have here. I'm going to add some more yellow and some white right into the, and you don't have to do this. This is just what I'm doing. But if you want to, I'm showing you. Okay. So if you look at the actual picture, there's all this beautiful stuff in the background. That's what I'm going to be painting right now. So all these little background branchy things. That's a nice color. I think the colors are what's going to make this painting really beautiful. So really get creative with your colors. There's almost no wrong that you could do. Just be in your really creative space. Okay, here I am. And I'm just making these little dots on the side. There's a little bit of white streaked in. I like it. I'm gonna keep it. Didn't originally plan for that, but that's what happened. And it looks like it's coming in front of him a little bit. That's fine. Let this be your own. That's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna make some more, maybe another one up in the corner. That's not in our original painting, just adding it. Okay, that's looking good. I'm gonna add some more flowers around, probably another minute or two. We're getting pretty close to the end. Actually, I think I'm gonna do a blow drying step. Look at Maya quick. She's got something in her mouth that does not belong. Oh, that's no good. Don't eat that. Oh, she had the leaf of a plant. There we go. Pretty good. And I'm going to paint a few more flowers, and then I'm going to add in some fancy lines and things, and then we're going to call it a day. All right. So I have this really cool magenta color, just happened to be one of the colors I brought with me. You can always use red and add a little bit of white and also some blue into it, kind of similar to how we made this color. But you can play. You don't have to use this color. Use whatever you have. So I'm going to put a couple of flowers of this color. So everything doesn't have to be pastel-y. There's a few things we didn't have pastel-y, like his body is black. Also, we didn't put any pastel elements in the green over here and also the brown. So you can pick and choose areas that you don't add white to. Maybe a smaller flower over here. Just play. Permission to play. It's looking pretty good. Another one up here. Doesn't have to be realistic. You can have flowers floating in space. It's okay. This picture's not realistic. Okay, I'm gonna use my hairdryer again. All finished. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Well, actually, before I do anything else, I'm gonna pick a color for the inside of my magenta flowers. And let's see, maybe I'll just mix a little green or something here. Just play. I just mixed like a light green. There's nothing you can do that's wrong. Remember that. So in this world of nothing that we can do wrong, we have complete permission to play. Remember that always. I'm just kind of going around, adding a little bit of color to the inside of the magenta flowers that I just made. Many different approaches to flowers. I'm just fixing up a couple little things before we do our finishing touches. So I'm just adding the same color over here. Just fixing up. I thought a couple things I did were a little sloppy. So I'm just taking that minute to clean a few things up. And this is a nice sunny tropical picture. Okay. So we've kind of come to the end. We're going to grab a real thin brush and I'm going to put some white into it. I'm going to add some water to my white to make it very fluid. My white seems to have a bit of yellow in it. That's no big deal. I'm going to use it as it is. I think that little bit of yellow in there will maybe even work for our picture. I always feel like everything happens for a reason. So if accidentally a little color gets mixed in, maybe it's going to help your picture. Oop. Not sure if you saw what I just did. Bring it back. I'm using my thinnest brush. I don't have to necessarily outline the whole leaf. I know I did it down here. Just because I did it down there doesn't mean I have to do it everywhere. Just play. Make it your own. I'm actually not crazy for how it looks outlined down there. So I think I might even change that. So a lot of times we're being very experimentative, and we can change things if we're not crazy how they come out. Maya Bell. So I'm just adding the white for the inside of all these little flowers that are around. I can change the direction that the little white things go in. That'll help it feel more organic, or as it would be in nature. I feel like Maya's saying yellow, green. She talks about eggies a lot. I'm just gonna fix up a couple little things here, and then we're gonna call it a day. Just fixing up, again, a couple little sloppy areas that I found. There's bound to be some. Take that little time and fix up those areas. No need to leave them if you're not happy with them. Okay, finishing up. So I'm kind of helping the shape of some of these flowers. You could play, you could be adding other colors into your flowers. These flowers, again, they're not realistic, so they don't have to look perfect by any means. Okay, here's my picture. And I'm just gonna focus on it for a second so you guys can really see how it came out. Make sure I'm actually in the picture. Okay, I'm gonna be ending the video. Please be sure to send me your pictures when you're done. And we'll see you next week, same time, well, 10:30. Okay, we'll see you then. Bye.